Hey, Chef Brian Sow here, not your typical chef, and this is another gear demo video. And for this video, I will be doing a single coil tone shootout between 5 of my guitars of various brands, various construction types, woods, so on and so forth. And if you're anything like me, you listen to a wide variety of music, and you like to play and write a wide variety of music, thus needing a wide variety of tones. And I'm guilty of being the type of guy. I have a wide variety of guitars, nothing too crazy, but I do have one of each, of those essential guitars for those essential tones. But I also like to have a guitar that can kind of do it all. And this is my number one right here, my EVH Wolfgang Special with the stock Wolfgang pickups that I had modded with a push-pull so I could get the single coil type tones. Now, what prompted me to do this video is this guitar that I'd recently gotten, an ESP LTD Ben Weinman guitar with this freaking awesome Evertune bridge. Video coming up about that soon. I'd installed a set of Fishman Fluence Tosin Abasi humbuckers, and I am in love with those pickups. They offer 3 very distinct usable tones, an active humbucker tone, a passive humbucker tone, and a single coil tone. And I just wanted to see how those tones, or the single coil tone at least, stacked up against this guitar's split coil tone. And while I was at it, I decided to do an active single coil tone, a passive single coil tone, and a low output humbucker tone, just to give me a point of reference of how all these guitars sound up against each other. Now, obviously, it's not the most controlled of videos because each guitar is inconsistent with each other. It's completely different woods, construction types, like I had mentioned. But one thing that will be consistent, I had restrung every guitar with my favorite strings, Jim Dunlop 9-46 strings. I'll be using my custom Dunlop Tortex picks, .60, for those of you who care to know. I am getting the tones from a Joey Sturgis Tones Jason Richardson Tone Forge plugin, which I absolutely love to death. Also makes my life very easy, actually, having such a good sounding plugin to use. And that's basically the consistent thing that's going to be going on between all the guitars. Now, I will be talking more about each individual guitar and the construction type and the modifications that I had done, if any. Actually, almost every single one of these guitars are modded in some way, in one form or another, at the end of the video. So if you want to know more about that, stay tuned to the end of the video where I'll talk more about that. And without further ado, let's get to it. you made it. So let's talk some guitars as promised. The first one in the video was this ESP LTD Ben Weinman guitar. It is made in South Korea. The original pickups were in EMG 81 and 85. They were chrome covered, very smooth, nice, beautiful chrome covers. Actually, they had gone into this guitar now. Some badass old school tones out of that guitar. But I got this guitar because of the Evertune bridge, which I'll talk more about in a second. So I took out the original chrome-covered EMGs, and I threw in these Fishman Fluence Tosin humbuckers, which are obviously black pickup covers. And I really liked the original chrome-covered EMGs. I just thought that look was very slick. So I got a couple of chrome pickup rings from Stu Mac to kind of get that chrome look, to keep that chrome look going. Now this guitar is neck through construction. I'm almost positive it's a maple neck with mahogany sides, maple top, semi-hollow. Amazing combination of woods, very classic. The semi-hollow in conjunction with these pickups just sound amazing. As I had mentioned earlier, the pickups give me 3 very distinct usable tones. It comes with locking tuners. I'm almost positive this is a graphite or like a tusk style nut. And yeah, I just literally can get every type of tone that I need out of this guitar. And because of this Evertune bridge, it just makes tracking a breeze. It makes my life so much easier. I save a lot of time. And for me, I am a full-time chef over at Beauty and Essex in New York City. And I just do not have time to waste. I don't have any time to waste is what I meant to say. And this, it's just very inspirational to play this guitar even without the Evertune bridge, but because of the Evertune bridge, it just makes my creative process and writing process flow a lot more easily because the intonation just stays perfect throughout the neck. It's a great guitar to play. I love this neck heel. I have great high upper fret access. Awesome, awesome guitar. So this guitar is kind of cool. This is started out as a Squier Classic Vibe guitar that I had switched out the neck for a Warmoth neck with a standard thin profile, maple neck, rosewood fingerboard. I had installed and carved out myself a brass nut. It has the Joe Barden compensated brass saddles, and it has a Dimarzio tone zone, single coil size tone zone, and an Area T, Dimarzio Area T neck pickup. Now this is a guitar. I also installed a push pot for the bridge pickup, so that I can split it and still get a Tele bridge pickup sound, single coil sound. I also flipped the control plate around. That's how I like to have my Tele set up. And this is a guitar I used a lot on the Over the Pass EP, which you can download on iTunes and all major digital music retailers. I just love the tone of this guitar and how it plays. The neck is perfect. It basically never moves, and I'm very finicky about my guitars shifting, the guitar necks shifting during the season, which is another reason why I love the Evertune bridge so much. It compensates for that. And I also, anyway, I'll talk about the other guitars later. Anyway, fantastic guitar. I think this is like a cheaper type of alder wood, if I'm not mistaken, or maybe agathis. I think that's how it's pronounced, but it still sounds and plays phenomenally. One of my favorite guitars that I've had for a few years now, and yeah. There we go. All right, so the third guitar in the video is actually my number 1 guitar, which is my EVH Gear Wolfgang Special. This is a made in Mexico version, but make no mistake, it still is fantastic. One thing I loved about this guitar when I first got it is the fretwork. The neck shape is perfect for me. I absolutely love these Wolfgang necks. And also they are made with, the necks are constructed with graphite rods on the inside. If I'm not mistaken, the Charvels and the Jackson ones are too. And the neck is so stable, and I don't need to mess with it very often, if ever. And on top of that, it has the spoke wheel here for easy adjustment of the truss rod. Just super convenient, well constructed. Has a EVH branded locking tremolo. I do prefer guitars with locking tremolos. I do like to dive bomb. Dimebag Darrell's one of my favorite guitarists of all times, and I play nothing like him, but I do like to play with my whammy. And has the stock pickups, and I installed the push-pull as I had mentioned earlier. One cool thing that I had installed is this LED kill switch over here. That is battery powered, but it does not require the battery to work. It's just for that LED. It still works if the LED is off, which is cool, and doesn't affect the tone or anything. It is a completely passive guitar. I have kind of not a love-hate relationship with these stock Wolfgang pickups. They're just very, very different from what I normally play, and I didn't want to mess with the guitar because it had so much mojo, but it's almost like this beast I need to control because it has so much bass, not in a bad way, but just has a lot of bass. And the neck pickup, which is something I prefer now, is actually slightly higher output than the bridge pickup, which is very cool because I normally use the neck pickup for clean tones, split, and because it is a higher output pickup than the bridge, there's not much of a volume drop off when I split the coil, so that's really cool. Now, one thing I do need to mention, the modifications I had done on this guitar is I had installed these stainless steel parts from fu-tone.com. So stainless nut clamping screws, bridge saddle screws, string mounting screws, titanium blocks. I sweat a lot. I may have some sweat already, booby sweat. And I normally destroy my locking tremolos. And with this, it just lasts way longer. And I kind of got spoiled because, believe it or not, when you go to unlock this, it's actually a lot smoother. It feels different. So when I get a new guitar with a locking tremolo and I go to unlock the nut with the stock ones, it actually feels completely different. I know I sound crazy, but it's true. It's basically hot rodding your guitar with absolutely premium parts. I think it's worth every penny. One more thing I should mention I got from fu-tone.com is this tremolo bar, which has an Allen key on the bottom to unlock your nut, unlock your screws. It's a freaking great product. fu-tone.com. They got great products, and actually there's more. So this guitar, I had also installed this brass big block, brass tremolo stopper, noiseless springs, because if you know anything about tremolos, when you hit the strings, it's not very present, but there is some vibration within the tremolo cavity, and these springs get rid of that, which is great. And finally, to top it off, to be even more ridiculous, a titanium spring claw. All of these things combined together just add so much mojo and tone to the guitar. It's unbelievable. And basically, every locking tremolo guitar I do have has all these modifications done to it. So check it out, fu-tone.com. Let's move on to the next guitar. So I actually got it wrong. The EVH guitar was the fourth guitar, and this was actually the third guitar on the track you just heard. So this is my 2016 or 2017 Fender Deluxe Stratocaster. Now this is also a made in Mexico guitar, and it has 22 frets, which is the main reason why I bought it. I normally don't like the made in Mexico guitars because they're normally 21 fret, and this one, you know, it has that 22nd fret. It has that great made in Mexico price point. It came with the Fender noiseless pickups, which I love you, Fender. I play a ton of your products, but I hate those pickups. I can't stand those pickups. And that's why I got these Fishman Fluence single coil pickups, which sound absolutely phenomenal. Has a push-pull to give me a higher output, kind of hot Texas special, I think type of sound is what they call it, Texas Special, but basically a hot rodded single coil tone. Sounds fantastic. I also added this modification where it's a neck pick, it activates the neck pickup. So if I'm on the bridge and I activate this switch, I can get a middle position telly type of tone, but I could also activate all 3 pickups with this on in position number 4, I guess, the position after bridge, between middle and bridge. It's great. I get a wide variety of tones. Now, I am not, I don't play single coils that often. It's mainly on my clean tones, but you gotta have a Strat, and this is like the perfect Strat for me. It also has this rounded off neck heel, which is a godsend. I love it. I mean, it's a made in Mexico guitar with that USA Deluxe, with those USA Deluxe specs. Great guitar, plays fantastic, comes with the locking tuners. I can't say more great things about what Fender's doing right now. They just really are meeting the demands of the customer, except for the noiseless pickups, which I can't stand. Now, I'm not going to open up the cavity, but if you look inside, it also has an FU dash tone brass big block. It also has the brass tremolo stopper, the noiseless springs, and for this one, it has the brass spring claw, plus the brass spring claw screws. Adds tons of mojo. Again, all those things you can get at fu-tone.com. Great guitar, great sounds. Let's move on to the next one. And finally, we have a Wolfgang Special, and this is made in Indonesia. And make no mistake, even though it's made in Indonesia, it has that same freaking awesome fretwork. Normally, when I get my guitars, I have to shave off the fret ends and crown them a little bit, which is, something I was doing getting done so often, I decided to teach myself how to do it, with the guidance of a luthier, of course. And I didn't have to do that with this guitar. Constructed amazingly well. Like I said, made in Indonesia, which I was a little weary about, but when I got it and I played it, it was freaking awesome. Basswood body, has the same graphite rods as the Mexican and American counterparts, so the neck is super stable. I installed a set of Fishman Fluence classic pickups. Now, these are modeled after passive PAF style pickups. PAF stands for patent applied for, but a PAF styled pickup, which is lower output, and it's just that sweet classic humbucker tone. But if I engage this push-pull, then I get that hot-rodded, dare I say, JB type of tone, which is one of my all-time favorite pickups. And I get those 2 tones out of this one guitar. Now, as I had mentioned, with all my locking tremolo guitars, I install these FU-tone parts. So the saddle mounting screws, the string mounting screws, the titanium blocks, same thing, the stainless steel nut clamping screws, and also the big block, the noiseless springs, and the brass spring claw. Great guitar, sounds awesome. Like I said, it's made in Indonesia, but import guitars have come a long way and they sound freaking great. And this was the humbucker tone, the very last one, which was not a single coil tone. So, in conclusion, tell me what you thought, because I like them all. Now, honestly, my favorite pickups right now is the Fishman Fluence Tosin Abasi set. I'm even thinking about getting those installed into the EVH, my red EVH Wolfgang, which I'm a little hesitant about because I'd have to get the pickup cavity routed a little to fit the pickups. I'm still thinking about it, not sure if I'm actually going to go through with it. But that was my favorite tone, even the single coil tone. When I was listening back and forth between the Strat with the active Fishman single coils and the Tosin Abasi, they sounded very alike and very similar. Now, I don't think that the single coil tone of the Tosin Abasi pickup sounded anything like my Telly with the Dimarzios in it. but I actually liked the Tosin single coil tone a little bit more. I felt like it was almost like a blanket was lifted off, and I preferred it. Now, I still love to play a Telly. I love that Telly sound. I'm not going to mess with it because it still gives me a great variety of tones, the Telly that is. And I still want to have a Telly with passive pickups in it. But that's me. That's what I liked. You know, obviously the Wolfgang standard with the humbuckers wasn't a single coil tone. That was just for my own reference. But anyway, let me know what you think. Tell me in Instagram or in the comments below, whichever one you want. I'll be sure to reply. And yeah, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for watching. Hope you had fun as much as I did. And Not Your Typical Chef signing out.